It's so stupid, it's positively brilliant.
The Brilliant Reports Podcast.
Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill.
Oh, that actually was okay. Let's set that up because that is interesting. That's actually an interesting conversation.
I put that in the what a fucking idiot category.
Yes,
Because
but yeah, okay.
because of the social media reaction. Because I watched.
Can you
I
say
watched
what
the
it
show
is,
on Vice.
though? Can you-
Yeah. I watched the show on Vice. I want Taylor to insert the clip too. But they had Jake Paul on.
Jake, considering where we are right now in our racial conversation in America, was what you did to Nate Robinson racist?
That is the question of the week.
Man.
Nah, stop playing with me. Come on.
Jamel Hill starts it off by saying, "Did you think it was racist for that you knocked out Nate Robinson?" And she's laughing the whole time, all of that shit. And Jake's like, "Stop playing with me." He knew he said it.
Yeah,
He's like, "Stop playing with me, man." He was like, "That's it's boxing, whatever." Then something happened with his computer, so then it froze. So Carrie goes, "Oh, you're frozen. Okay, let's start from the top." So Carrie doubles down. She's like, "Was it racist that you knocked you did there?" And like, Jake Paul's like, "That's a shitty question. Like whatever." Y'all had to know they were playing, yo. Social media had to know they were playing.
Here's the thing: if not anybody else, but if most other people ask that question,
It's because it's Jamel.
it's a joke. But when Jamel Hill, her career has turned into here's why everything's racist. When you ask the question, which is consistent with all the other questions that you're asking or statements, people are going to take you serious.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Jamel,
So you got to know that.
Yeah, Jamel's an amazing talent to me. I've always respected
She
Jamel.
knows if a 4th round pick that's a punter said something racist 14 years ago in like a a term paper he wrote for middle school. Like she'll find that somewhere and then she will post it on Twitter. It's like, see, look, the punter for the Patriots is racist. He shouldn't be in the NFL. And then you ask another question that's as consistent with that, and then people take it out of context. You can't be like, I'm a comedian now.
But you know what's fucked up about that shit though? Jamel always has had a sense of humor, and she's always expressed it. But I guess it gets lost in the wokeness, I would call it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess it gets lost in that. So people have a narrative about Jamel in their head. So as soon as they see that, they're like, "Oh hell no!" But it was clearly
I knew
a
she
joke.
was joking. I knew she was joking. And if anybody else asked it, I think it's a joke. If you asked it, it's a joke.
No, I wouldn't ask it like that though.
How would you ask it?
I would have said, so Jake Paul, do you believe in the Black Lives Matter movement? And when he said yes, I would have said, so why'd you kill Nate Robinson? You know what I mean? That's how I would have done it. You know what I mean? I would have done it like that. But you know, it's just the fact that people reacted the way they did to Carrie and Jamel. But they do that all the time on social media. They take a clip, they manipulate it, they cut it up. Because they didn't even start with Jamel. They started with Carrie. Because Carrie's tone was a little more serious, even though she was joking as well.
Right.
And then Jake goes, "Oh, that's a shitty question." And she goes, "Why is it a shitty question?"
Because
so
it's a
even though
shitty
she
question.
being sarcastic and playing, it looks like she's dead ass serious.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how could y'all spend all day or at least half a day mad at this obvious sarcasm?
Because people just hate hypocrisy. That's all it is. And then it looks hypocritical. It's like that Chappelle joke where he's like, just because I'm dressed this way. You remember like when he was wearing a policeman's outfit and the girl's like, help, help. And he's like, just because I'm dressed this way, why would you think I'm a police officer? And that's the same thing. It's like, if you're going to dress the part, people are going to treat you as a part.
I felt that way about how everybody reacted to Casanova this week too.
What happened with that? He got locked up or something?
Yeah, he got locked up on a federal indictment. And I guess in the paperwork, I was reading the paperwork. The paperwork said that, it was some interviews that he did. I guess it was some interviews about a stabbing or something like that. And then everybody, took a clip from Vlad TV and it became this whole, Vlad TV is the feds, right? And I really feel like we're missing an opportunity to have a bigger conversation when we can't look past our personal feelings for people, right? So same thing with Jamel. People have personal feelings toward Jamel. They have a narrative about Jamel. So they couldn't even see that it was sarcasm and it was joking.
Right.
Same thing with Vlad. People have, ill feelings toward Vlad. It's a narrative about Vlad. So they just harp on that instead of looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
The
Question. Go.
The bigger picture is, well, go ahead. What's your question?
would Jamela Hill afford that same, I guess, I don't know, patience,
luxury,
or luxury to someone else? I don't think she would. Like, I don't think,
know. That's a good question.
Just based on what I've seen from her, I don't think that she would have the same tolerance. And maybe it's coming from a good place. Maybe it's like, I have a zero tolerance policy to any racism. I don't care how old you are or anything that could potentially be misconstrued as it. I hate racism and I'm not tolerating none of that shit. And I'm not anti that at all. But because she presents herself as having zero tolerance policy, she can't look at maybe someone who was a kid and maybe made a mistake or did something dumb, and maybe she's kind of blind to that. So then you look at that person, you're like, oh, so she has no tolerance for forgiveness or no tolerance for jokes or no tolerance for any of that kind of stuff. So then I'm not going to have any tolerance for her. She set the table.
Absolutely. They couldn't wait. Like, and that's the thing though. They couldn't
wait. They
couldn't
true.
wait.
Yes.
When you have a voice, when you have a platform, I mean, the good thing is this, right? Your voice matters.
Yes.
Because if your voice didn't matter, they wouldn't be on your ass like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
yes.
Jamel and Carrie's voice matters. But they can't wait to jump on Jamel. They can't wait to catch Jamel slipping. You know what I mean? Because of the fact Jamel will call people out on their shit. And that's fine. When you're that type of person, when you're that type of personality, you have to know that comes with the territory. I tell folks all the time, everybody gets a turn.
Yeah.
There's not one person who has a podcast, a radio show, a TV show. If you're vocal for a living, eventually you will get a turn.
Yes.
That's why I don't fall into that social media darling love. Social media is full of shit. They don't like you.
Yeah.
So you and some people literally,
they don't like you. They just like that you agree with them.
Yo.
They like what you guys have in common.
I wish I had my laptop. I want to pull. It's this Barack Obama quote that he said in an interview a couple weeks ago. Where's my phone? Yes, Barack said, this is in regard to the defunding the police. He said, the key is deciding, do you want to actually get something done or do you want to feel good among the people you already agree with? That's all social media is. It's a bunch of motherfuckers trying to feel good among the people they already fucking agree with. So if you wake up every day and you have to wait for social media to tell you what to think, you see something and you scroll down the timeline to see what other people are thinking and then you formulate your opinion, bro, you're gonna have a hard life. It's gonna be a long day for you all the time.
I always wonder, like, if you couldn't see how many retweets or likes you got, if people would even tweet this stuff.
Yes.
And if they wouldn't,
yes,
it's because it's not because they don't, it's because they don't really care about the issue. What they care about is that positive feedback.
Yes.
You know, they're just tapping into the reward system.
Yes.
How can I get some pats on the fucking back? And it's bullshit. You know, by the same time, I'm not going to be someone to hate on social media because social media gave me a career in a lot of ways, right? It gave me the opportunity to connect with people.
It did all of us.
Yeah. So like we all won off of it. So we're all, you know, it's amazing, but it's also shitty, but it's so easy to get caught in that vacuum, especially when, like, if you tap into a movement, it could be wokeness, it could be Trumpism, it doesn't matter. But if you tap into a movement that is super passionate and you just say the things that those people want to hear, that is a express lane on the highway to some social media fame, if you will.
Yes.
So you got to be very careful. Like, just as like the athletes that go MAGA, like Kobe Covington and those people, you got to be careful because the second you leave MAGA, all those people,
MAGA gonna turn on you.
Because they never fucked with you as a fighter.
That's
they
right.
fuck with you because you agree with them.
That's right.
And the same thing with Jamel. It's like, if you build your fan base as only people that are part of this woke sector, and then you want to diverge from that a little bit because your opinion is more nuanced on a topic, they're gonna eat you too.
Absolutely. I mean, listen. I mean, I think, like, you know, somebody like Jamel, people love Jamel, right? But then people really don't like Jamel. I think what fucks with you is when you're just doing you, right? And then all of a sudden the people who you thought fucked with you give you that backlash on social media.
Because they never fucked with you.
They never, that's the thing. They never really fucked with us.
Just agreed.
That's it. So they can't wait to fucking turn those tables on you. Everybody gets a turn.
Yo, that's the thing that I realized about this game, bro, is like, and maybe it come full circle a little bit, is like, if you do it the quote unquote right way, like if you actually like stay true to who you are.
The right way is not giving a fuck.
It's not giving a fuck.
And even that, and I'm not even gonna lie, that became cliche for me at a time. Like, it's almost like not giving a fuck is a caricature.
Is a caricature.
You
sometimes,
give a fuck.
Sometimes.
We all give a fuck.
Yes, we wouldn't be talking into a microphone so people could listen if we didn't give a fuck.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But it has to come a point where you can't.
give the least amount of fucks of the give a fuck people.
Yes.
That's
but
really what it is.
But you should just, my thing is this, just be true to you. Yeah. And
But it takes longer that way. That's the thing about being true to you, right? Is when you're true to you, people have to remove themselves from their ideology and fuck with you. And it's so much easier to go, where y'all going? Y'all going to the park? Well, I'll go to the park with y'all. It's way easier to do that than going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the beach. And they're trying to go to the park. And then you're just like, well, I'm still going to the beach.
Yeah.
And y'all don't have to come, but eventually you might want to come with me. And it takes longer, but it is so much more fruitful because at the end of that journey, the people that fuck with you aren't going to purposely take your shit out of context because all of a sudden it's like a friend where if my friend says something fucked up, that's my friend. He's not cut off. I got to go, well, what did you mean by that? Then he explains it and I go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the groupthink of social media is going to ruin y'all too because a lot of these people, they don't even feel the way you think they feel. They're just going along to get along. So I know you see these hundreds and thousands of tweets of people and you think they're on your side. No, they just don't have the nuts to go against the grain. Mm-hmm. They don't have the nuts to get on Twitter and be like, man, y'all fucking tripping right now. Y'all are wrong.
You describe, You're describing Hollywood. This is everybody in Hollywood.
Explain.
Like Hollywood, this like super liberal Hollywood, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody out there is like, okay, we need to be incredibly progressive, incredibly woke, because that's how you work there, right? And then the second
when some shit don't make sense, and everybody's sitting around like, this don't really make sense, but nobody wants to say it.
Quiet, not going to say shit. Quiet as fuck. It's the emperor's new clothes. You know that story about the emperor when the dude made him the clothes and he didn't make him nothing. He was walking around naked, and everybody's like, yo, that's just fire, emperor, right? That's literally what it is. Like they're the stupidest thing, and
I always thought the
wants
emperor
to
had a big dick.
Maybe he had the pigs.
That's what I always thought they was complimenting him on.
Might have had it. That's what I
always thought. Maybe he was chiseled as a motherfucker. Maybe he was chiseled as a motherfucker with a big dick, and they was like, shit, fuck them clothes, emperor.
You are the emperor.
Yes, you fire. Walk around like that. That's what I always took from that story.
Fair enough.
That's not it?
No. Maybe it's a white thing to not assume he has a big dick. But the point is like Hollywood shuts down because of Corona. What happens to all those motherfuckers? They all move to red states. They all moved to Texas. They all moved to Nashville. Yeah. All of a sudden, those values that were the Carolinas, Florida, all of a sudden.
Georgia's historically a red state. They turn blue, but yeah.
Sure, but you know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, like all those values that were so important to them, and all these people were like, I could never live in a place that didn't have the perfect bathroom setups and all this shit. All the things they really cared about, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I could save a few points on taxes? Well, shit. Take me to Texas. Take me to red state. It's phony bullshit. And the second that they didn't need the things from those people, I'm out.
Yeah, I think what we're essentially saying is just Jamel's success took a shot at her. That's all. Her success took a shot at her. You know, when you're successful and you become successful, you know, being who you are, it's just like people can't even see past, you know, the narrative they've created for you in your head, good or bad. Because in some people's mind, Jamel can't do no wrong.
Yes.
In some people's mind, all she does is wrong. And this was just another example of, this is the shit I'm talking about when it comes to her. But she was clearly being sarcastic. She was clearly joking.
Some people were like, wait, why were you being sarcastic? That's a good question.
What do you mean?
They were like, no, it was racist. Why would he do that? I bet there are people that were like, yo, it's fucked up. Yo, and Nate called out Jake.
I never thought Rocky was racist.
Nah, he's Italian from Philly. let's be very honest there.
If Rocky was racist, what the fuck was Ivan Drago?
Oh, that motherfucker was super racist, bro. Super. He thought Rocky was black. He's like, why am I fighting this black guy? What is up with this black guy fighting? This is bullshit.